It's been talked about for years. Players talk about in the main event of the World Series of Poker how there are landmines. You know, people that are just playing weird that you don't understand, that you have to kind of get past and hope that they don't show up with a weird hand and call at the wrong time and end up running out a big hand on you or something like that. There are landmines in all sorts of big tournaments, including this EPT, the EPT Barcelona. It's possible that both guys we're going to talk about here are landmines.
Maybe.
But Alan Alencar feels very landminey to me. The way he plays this hand is pretty peculiar, kind of weird. We don't love everything he's doing, but he's going to put John Hannafy, who has a very big hand at certain points in the hand, in a pretty tough spot. It gets kind of interesting.
Yep. There's like 120, 30 players
166,
left.
so
that many
close enough.
Left in this EPT event, which is a $5,300 buy-in.
Hannafy is the euro buy-in.
Oh, even better. Hannafy is the effective stack with about 35 blinds or so. Alencar has way, way, way more blinds than that, so he's the one who's going to be applying pressure at least at times in this hand.
And Mark Testard is applying pressure on us to do more breakdowns because he keeps suggesting such great hands.
Yeah.
Good job, Mark Testard. He suggested this on Twitter. Of course, he included a YouTube link and a timestamp. That's how you suggest a hand for the breakdown.
It sure is. And the way you suggest a hand for Nitrogen Sports Poker is you go on Nitrogen Sports Poker and play hands on Nitrogen Poker. They actually don't take suggestions.
Nitrogen's Poker, yes.
Nitrogen Sports Poker,
yeah.
Okay, they don't take suggestions.
They don't take suggestions. Well, you can try to email their support and be like, hey, guys, I got a great hand for you. I don't think you're going to hear
They're
back
not going to respond to that.
But what you should do is use the link that we tweet out on that Twitter that we were just talking about when we talk about these hands, because that link enables you to access our Poker Guys monthly tournament. It's the last Sunday of every month. It's an incredible deal. They guarantee 1,000 buy-ins. We've never gotten more than about 130 players.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you can do a little math, that's a damn good overlay.
It's an insane overlay, and it's every single month.
Yeah, so, do that. Get you some poker. Get on Nitrogen. They also have sports betting. They have casino games. It's Bitcoin only. They give you your money fast. Get on there, get you some poker. Let's get to the hand.
Just so they can.
Is mine?
No, that one, but just like this.
Ace Jack for Alenka.
Face up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is that clear?
I understand.
13,000. Good. 7 plus. Only if you raise, Yeah, he forgets all the time. It's annoying.
Aces for Hannafy. Johnny Overkill. And the 3-bet gets called. Here we go. Oh, the case ace. Johnny Overkill strikes again. Smell you later, Alencar.
I mean, Alencar isn't a risk here. Hannafy likely to get a full double up
You get
because
the idea.
he only had 30 big blinds behind. Continues for 30K.
How's your summer been?
Pretty good. Yeah. I didn't want to go. Didn't go to Vegas much. So.
You didn't go?
Yeah, I went only for the main event.
Okay. And then what sort of, no stops?
No, I was in Europe on a trip with my girlfriend, and I played the online.
Didn't make it.
I didn't make it. So
Same here. I didn't make it, and I didn't want to go there. But
so we made another trip to Italy instead of going to
Beautiful.
Rosvada. Yeah.
This is what a lot of players would call a negative event for both players' hands when the diamond comes on the turn, right? This is a very bad card. So, I mean, Hannafy, he definitely 3-bet way too small pre-flop, 31K over 13K. Whatever, we can get past that. Alencar, even though the bet is so small, maybe should fold to the old guy with ace-jack off. I mean, it's kind of a horrible hand.
And 35 blinds, yeah, I think you should frickin' fold ace-jack off for sure.
But whatever, he gets here.
Whatever.
It's fine. The flop is completely standard. Hannafy could bet smaller, but whatever, we don't want to pull hairs on that one. Alencar is obligated to call on the flop when he flops an ace, and there's no flush out there yet, and there's no crazy stuff going on. On this turn, on this diamond, should Hannafy continue betting?
Okay, I think he probably shouldn't bet here. If he's going to bet, I don't know why he's betting 40. 40 is a really weird amount to bet, but I don't like the bet. I think Hannafy should be checking here, letting Alencar blast off if he's going to blast off. He's blocking most things that we can get value from anyway, like when we have top set.
Yeah, it's tough for Alencar to have an ace, obviously.
Yeah,
which
even though he
means
does.
that he's a little flush heavier here. And by the way, if Hannafy is as he profiles and doesn't really have too many random 3-bets out of the small blind, he has no flushes in his range, right? So that means Alencar has all of the flushes that Hanafi doesn't. Not that he has so many flushes, but he has some, and Hanafi doesn't have any. It's a time to check. Of course, it's not a time to fold when we have top set, and Alencar, by the way, as we know, is a little bit of a crazy guy.
We do know this about him, yes.
So I think it's probably a check from Hanafi, a check and never fold.
I agree completely. Like, check, let the guy bet any amount he wants to. We put in the chips, so don't worry about it. That's it.
Nonetheless, Hanafi does bet. He bets
Yeah.
very small, but still, shouldn't Alencar consider folding here?
I think he 100% should consider folding. If you're Alencar, there's one hand I can think of that might play it just like this, and it's 2 kings with the king of diamonds.
One hand that
in
you're
his
beating, of course.
Yes, that's what I mean, of course. That's about it. 2 kings with the king of diamonds. I think everything else we are losing to. I don't know
Maybe
if,
2 jacks with the jack of diamonds?
I don't know if Hanafi's really going to bet 2 jacks on the turn, but maybe. Maybe. I think kings, I could see the old guy betting that. It feels like pretty standard. But everything else we're losing to here, I don't know, man. It feels really thin to call.
Yeah, Hanafi, if he's going to bet a set of aces like this, I imagine he's going to bet ace-king like this. I imagine he's going to bet ace-queen like this, you know? So, yeah, it definitely feels really thin. It feels like we should just give up now.
We could be in so much trouble, too. We could be up against ace-king with the king of diamonds.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could be up against a set like we are. I mean, there's just no reason to call here.
Yeah, I think both of these guys kind of messed up the turn.
Okay, but you could decide, it's cheap, I'm in position, I'm going to call this. It's not that many blinds, I guess.
You can decide that, but you shouldn't.
No, I'm saying, but that means if you're doing that, it means you're calling because you think you're ahead, right?
Yes, of course.
And that's important, and that's going to play into this river. So it's important to just point that out if he's calling,
All
he's
right,
calling because he thinks he's ahead.
let's keep that in mind as we watch the river.
Yeah.
True. In Italy, I wasn't with my girlfriend.
4 diamonds,
she had to go back
little bit
home,
of an action killer,
we were
maybe?
in, Poland and Croatia before.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Alencar
it was amazing. It's a really nice
Bluff this
country.
now.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a long time. I guess I've never been to Poland.
Wow.
It's close.
And
Yeah, it's
Alencar
close, but, I mean, Croatia
moves
is a
all
kilometer.
in,
We really loved Croatia. Like,
shoves
small
on
islands
Hanafi.
like,
It's all into
Advar,
call here.
I don't know how you can call this.
the DIS.
I fold this
It's a really remote island.
100% of the time.
So far.
I just came
From there, yeah.
from Croatia.
Yeah. How did you like it?
Oh, amazing.
It's amazing. Huh?
Amazing.
Remember, those cards buy you
Sure.
additional thinking time. Shot clock is 30 seconds. Every card played buys you an additional 30 seconds.
Some people told us like this year wasn't that good, like in tourism wise, but like the past few years it went up like 400-500%.
And what was the
Blame
other
a guy
island?
for trying to
HVR?
Yeah, that's
HVAR.
talk
Yeah, yeah.
some
I've heard of this
tells
one.
out
Very
of this
long and
guy.
skinny. They have music festivals there.
yeah,
and
it's more like
I think it's known for party, right?
yeah, I like Ibiza a little bit like that. But the other one, this is
2 time
more
bank
like
cards in the
remote,
middle.
Really
I don't think I'm
relaxing
fold.
island.
He calls.
And he is right, and he will
Wow.
double up through Alencar.
Dude, I would be so mad if I got called by aces there.
Woo! That's what they say in wrestling when you own somebody, which is what Hanafi just did to Alencar. Just owned him, brother. You know?
Nice, Randy
yeah.
Macho Man Savage.
Yeah, brother. I'm going to call you with my set. Brother, I don't care if there's 4 diamonds on the flop, brother. Snap off one of them Slim Jims.
So it's an interesting thing in that, okay, the 4th diamond comes. We understand completely why John Hanafi is checking, right?
Yes.
Like, it's definitely time to check.
Mandatory check. Mandatory.
We check, we hope it goes check, check. We win a fair amount of the time if it does. Okay, it doesn't go check, check though. Something else happens. What do you think about Alencar's decision to go all in here on the river, or affect it, or move at least Hanafi?
Well, you
in?
made a pretty good point at the end of the turn there, didn't you? And we
Yeah.
said keep in mind on the river that Alencar is calling because he thinks he's ahead, right?
Yeah.
So if he was ahead, one of the major hands we thought he was ahead of was kings with the king of diamonds. Not ahead of that anymore.
Jacks with the jack of diamonds?
Not ahead of that anymore, and not expecting, certainly kings with the king of diamonds to fold. Jacks with the jack of diamonds, probably not going to
No
fold.
way is that hand folding.
So maybe he's trying to bluff Hanafi off exactly a set of aces or a set of queens, or ace-queen.
Why did we call the turn if we thought he had a hand
Ace-king with the king of diamonds, by the way. also not folding.
Not folding. If somehow you think he's white, he's got ace-jack with the jack of diamonds. Guess what isn't folding?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
like,
it's weird to turn the hand into a bluff now. I assume he just thinks, okay, now that the diamond came, I must be losing. But if he's losing to a diamond that got there, those are the types of diamonds that aren't folding based on Hanafy's pre-flop range. It doesn't make a ton of sense.
I mean, do you really think Hanafy's the kind of guy who's got like weird, like smaller diamonds? I don't think he does. Even if it's a singular diamond, you think he 3-bet you with ace-8 with the 8 of diamonds? I don't think so.
All right, so let's talk about the things about Alan Carr's bet that maybe are positive and things that Hanafy should be thinking about when trying to make this decision.
Okay.
So Alan Carr absolutely is the guy who can have turned flushes, right?
No question.
He can have some rivered flushes, although not a lot. He mostly can just have ace-jack with the jack of diamonds, right? Because ace-king with the king of diamonds, you're going to hear from pre-flop most of the time.
The only one that, yes, I agree. It's hard to come up with any king of diamonds in his range except the king jack of diamonds, like except the nuts.
Yeah, the turned nuts.
Fine. Yeah, exactly.
The turned nuts, yeah.
Fair enough.
If he has king 10 of diamonds or king jack of diamonds, those make sense too. Ace-jack with the jack of diamonds, that makes sense. Perhaps he has a lot of other diamonds in his range, like jack 10, jack 9. Maybe he has those, and maybe he bets those. But beyond that, because the 8 of diamonds is on the board, he doesn't have any lower jack of diamonds combos. He's not going to be shoving if he ended up with like some sort of suited connector diamonds that he turned the flush with, just called, and then another diamond comes. He's not shoving the 5 high flush here, right?
No way. I don't think he's shoving the 9 high flush here, honestly. The 10 high flush is really questionable and close. And I think he probably isn't shoving that either unless he knows Hanafy is a station among stations.
Yep.
Because then you're really trying to get called by this kind of a hand that Hanafy has, which I think he's trying to fold out that hand by moving and not get called by it, you know? So I don't buy that he would shove the 9 of diamonds or even probably the 10 of diamonds.
Right.
I believe the jack of diamonds is going in though.
So we have optimistically about 5 to 7 combos of diamonds that could be in Alan Carr's range here, right?
Right, but of course that means none of them raise the turn and some of them would have.
And none of them raise the flop, by the way, either.
Right.
Yeah, which like maybe king jack of diamonds raises the flop. I don't think it's a good idea, but we've seen Alan Carr do some stuff that I don't think is a good idea.
So fine.
So sure, there are some hands that beat Hanafy here, but based on the way the hand played out, it's pretty unlikely. And if he knows anything about Alan Carr, it makes this a pretty clear call.
Yeah, when you see the hand that Alan Carr ultimately is shoving with, it doesn't really make any sense. It has no relation to what's going on, really, in any way.
I mean, it has an ace in his hand.
Oh,
That's
no, of course,
about it.
no. We understand how he got
Yeah.
to the river, but the shove, it isn't like he blocks anything that makes any sense.
Right.
There's no real reason to shove here. I guess he could say to himself, well, I blocked top set, but middle set's going to call you too. Like,
Right.
you're not really trying to, he's trying to fold out a hand like that, right? Because that's why he's bluffing right now. He's clearly bluffing.
We don't know if Hanafy actually did this type of analytical work to make the call, or if he's just a guy who has entitlement tilt, meaning that at one point in the hand, at least 2 points in the hand, he had the nuts, which makes you feel kind of married to the hand, makes you feel like you deserve to win the pot, end up calling when you shouldn't, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
In this case, I think it's a spot where he should call, but it's possible that Alan Carr got unlucky, and this is in fact entitlement tilt and not analytical work from Hanafy.
That is possible. I mean, honestly, if Hanafy even did distribution, he might look back and say, this might be the best hand I ever have in this spot. Like,
well,
I don't
he
really
probably has ace-king with the king of diamonds,
Okay,
right?
fair enough.
Yeah.
You're right. He has that hand. But that's it. This is the next best hand, right? So he might find a call that way too.
Yeah, so ultimately we think Alan Carr just kind of spewed around a little bit in this hand, and Hanafy ended up just getting a huge double up because Alan Carr decided to spew around a little bit.
So ultimately a huge call for Hanafy. Really big deal, I'm sure, in this spot for him. Alan Carr's got to be a little disappointed that he got called by a non-flush, but I mean, we think he played the hand weird. Anyway, what do you guys think about all the decisions all the way through? We had a little problem with a few of them, specifically some of the pre-flop play, the sizing by Hanafy there, but still maybe the call by Alan Carr anyway. Hanafy deciding to bet the turn, Alan Carr deciding to call the turn and then shove the river. We think all these decisions are at best questionable, and some of them we just plain don't like. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Also, down there where you see the comments is where you'll see a link to our new book.
Bam!
It's called How Can He Fold with 3 question marks because we mean it. It's a really fun poker book. We have a conversational back and forth about big time poker hands. There are 37 chapters in there. They're each a hand, but they're little bite-sized fun chapters. It gets harder as it goes. You know, it starts with, ease of complexity and ends up with like, I have to read this 4 times. It's a lot of fun. It's beautifully designed.
It is.
It's really something you should check out. Click the link. You can get it in paperback form or ebook form.
Yep. Easy to get. It's on Amazon too. If you decide later on you want to go find it, you can get it there as well. We're really proud of it. Definitely check it out.
Also, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and give us a like.